Okay, so when did you start to feel like you were gaining traction? I'm catching footballs left and right. Is it junior year, senior year, and then how many schools are you looking at?
Yeah. So honestly, I found out when I was a sophomore. So my coach, who was a really good friend of mine, he didn't tell me anything until the end of my sophomore year. So I'm about to go into states for track and field, and I'm like, dang, like I don't know if any college is looking at me. I have no idea. Like all I do, this when Twitter was just like really starting to get, popping for a lot of us. And then Twitter was kind of like, kind of. But in 2013, that's when I was like, yo, get a Twitter. This is the new thing. So I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, get a Twitter. People start mentioning some stuff. I'm like, so that's when I'm thinking like, all right, they're interested in me. So I never talked to them anything like that until the end of my sophomore year. I started getting these letters. And my coach shows me, he's like, yeah, here are your letters. And I'm like, bro, like this says March and it is June. Like why you give me these a long time ago?
Yeah.
And then so yeah, like I think my sophomore year is where I really started to gain some traction. Um, and I know we blew up. We had a great time. I was going to camps, rival camps, Nike camps, stuff like that. So it was that's when I really started to take off. I started to
Yeah.
know that, man, I could do something with this football stuff.
Yeah, you got the huddle video
Got the
right
huddle,
into.
got the huddle
Yeah,
video,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's funny.
and the music to the huddle stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so go to Penn State, balled out there. Why Penn State? I know it's kind of close to home. Was that the reason? You tell me.
Truly. So when I was first getting recruited by Penn State, Bill O'Brien was there, and loved Bill O'Brien to death. But I was like, man, like y'all too old school for me. Like I can't be here. So then he left, and I think he may have went to the Texans at the time, I think. And so that's when James Franklin came. They had a great vibe about them. I was like, all right, they're young, they're innovative. I like what they're doing. Trying to build the program. I'm trying to be able to rebuild. And Penn State was close to home. We had one of the top recruiting classes at the time. So I'm like, man, I might as well ride this wave. And so 3 hours away, went there, great time. Yeah, I just thought it would be really good for me to be there in a rebuild where I think they really needed it the most, and plus the education was obviously great as well. You can hold that paper and go anywhere with it and say I went to Penn State and they would know.
Yep.
So I think that's I liked about it.
And then your senior year, you're going to Oregon, bro, across the country.
Yeah.
What's the decision behind doing that?
Yeah. Yeah. I always get that question a lot, and I honestly think me mentally, I think the year before just wasn't. I wasn't in a place where I could be there anymore, and so the year before I had a really down year. It was frustrating for me, injuries. Um, yeah, me and my wife, my now wife, was my girlfriend, and we broke up. She moved back to California, and I was just like, man, I'm just in a really like dark place. And so, me mentally, I think a refresh or restart was something that was much needed for me. And I know it wasn't me because this is not something I initially wanted to do. This was definitely God just saying like, I have something in store for you, and I don't know if it's here because I've done what all I need to do. And so, Oregon reached out to me during the portal process, and obviously I knew Cristobal from him recruiting me at Alabama when I was in high school, and I was like, I think I know this guy. We follow each other on Facebook, so I said I think I know him,
Yeah.
and so we got talking. And I was like, yeah, I remember his face clear as day, and so yeah, that's what kind of got me rolling with wanting to transfer.
Yeah, also trying to get a little bit closer to California over there, dude. That's,
No lie, yeah,
yeah, I see what you're doing.
true.
Was there was there any pressure though to just was there any bad blood at Penn State with Franklin or
Yeah.
anything like that? Was it just like kind of smooth sailing? And then was there any pressure to kind of jump into an Oregon ball club with Herbert and all those boys?
Definitely not smooth at all. Definitely not smooth. When I initially brought up the conversation to the Penn State staff, James Franklin, I think it didn't go over as well as I thought it would be, just because like I was stepping more into more of a leadership role, and I was leaving, but I didn't think it was anything that they had done. It was nothing that they had done because it was never really about them. It was more so about me and one, my mental health, but two, just on what I wanted to do for my career. And so, yeah, it definitely, I was in that meeting with him and the strength coach at the time for about 2.5 hours. And they were just trying to pick my brain on just why. And I was telling them why, because honestly, at some point I was thinking about not playing anymore just because of just the way of how, I was just in such a place where I was like, man, I don't know. Because obviously you read like social media stuff and this is where I was talking to more so alluding back to Foster, like this it's so much bigger than just this sport. And so if this game today was just like, all right, we're just gonna wipe football, what are you gonna be? And
Mhm.
so that's what I really wanted to, get into. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm good. I don't necessarily have to, be here. And so yeah. Talking to the wide receiver coach there got fired. And now I'm talking to a new wide receivers coach at Penn State. Talking to him and he's asked me why I'm leaving and stuff. So it was about, a 3-week process before I initially made my decision, which was already made that I'm
Mhm.
just done.